Okay, so looking at a 30-yard wedge shot today. We've done, 50, 55, an 80-yarder. 30-yarder slightly different just because it's not going to have as much spin as a 50 and 60-yarder or an 80-yarder, for example. So we might have to play a little bit more with trajectory to control this ball. We're going to talk through a couple different ideas. I got a sort of a standard 30-yard shot here, not any trouble, but we'll talk about if we had a bunker in front and we did have to hit it up in the air, what we're looking to do. So standard setup for this shot, some ideas. Stance width's not going to be super wide. I go just over 2 club heads is enough, just because we're not having to generate a lot of power on this shot, so we don't need a big stance. Ball position is going to be right around center. And then as we're moving for this shot, it's going to be around like a pretty wide arc for my baseline shot. It's about hip to hip for this one, without a lot of acceleration. It's going to be pretty smooth tempo, trying to feel like I go around hip to hip, trying to keep the club head moving back in front of me. I don't like when I see this sort of track this way on this short of a shot. So I want the club moving in front. I'm going hip to hip. Club face is very square on this shot, not a lot of shaft lean. And this is sort of my mid to low launching standard 30-yard shot. So I'll get set up, hip to hip, just a nice smooth one here. So that was really solid, had a lot of spin. So let's look at those. So that one carried, it says 32. I'm a little bit into the wind, so the wind probably knocked it down just a little bit. We're looking at spin 5,600, which is a fair amount of spin for this shot. Path was 3 from the inside, 3.6, and face was ever so slightly open. My attack angle there was 5.8 down. So the thing that I always find interesting with guys is, or girls when I'm teaching them, is that's almost 6 down attack angle. And I'll zoom in, but the turf interaction was very minimal. It was just sort of like, you could see the grass sort of pop up in the air, but there wasn't a big strike onto the ground, which I think is really important on this shot. Okay, so if we're playing around here, so that one launched at 29. So typically, unless I'm trying to hit something, to a back pin, I don't know if I'm going to want to launch it much lower than that on this type of shot. If I was trying to hit a really, really low one, I would just work the path just maybe slightly more into out and let the face stay a little bit more shut to produce like a little bit more of a driving draw shot. I'll hit one just for fun. So this is if I'm hitting to more of a back pin. So this one I'm going to try land just a little bit short of the pin. I'm going to have just maybe a little bit more shaft lean here with the ball like not way back. It's just slightly back of center. And then it's going to be a little shorter swing because I'm going to deliver a little less loft with this one with a little bit more draw to hit it in there a little bit lower. So that's like a low, slight draw to a back pin if I wanted to sort of check up the hill. So the path there is 7 from the inside, launched it at 25. So there's a lower launch, right? Spin was 4,800, still had enough spin to stop. Attack angle was a little steeper because of the ball position. That was 7.6 down. So it sort of did everything that I was hoping it would do for that type of shot. Carried 27, then skipped up to the pin there. If we're looking to go a little bit higher, okay, we can play around with, the first place that I like to go is just making sure that the shaft is a little bit more vertical. If you want, you can open the face just tiny, very, very small amount. So if that's square, I'm just shifting it just ever so slightly. I'm going to go maybe a little wider stance, but the thing that I think is important when you're starting to go a little bit higher is just letting the swing go a little bit longer without much more pace for this type of shot. So this one I'm going to feel like, it's maybe a little bit more shoulder to shoulder with the club head. Just going to deliver a little bit more loft, see if I can hit it up there a little bit higher in the air. Imagine there's a bunker in front and I got to hit it over that bunker and get it to stop. It's not like an extreme flop, but I'm just trying to slide that club under there and deliver just a little tiny bit more loft with a little smoother swing, little longer swing. I was good, a little soft. I probably could have kept the face a bit more square. So that launched at 43, so quite a bit different from a launch. The club slid under there nicely. I'll hit one more, see if I can fly it up there just a little closer to that hole. I'm gonna have the face, I'm gonna do the same thing, face a little bit open. I'm gonna let the swing be just a little longer with the same sense. So that's the one that I want. So that flew up there right beside the hole, launching at 37. Again, the idea on that swing, ball's a little bit more forward, stance is a little tiny bit wider, but the main thing is a little longer swing, so then I can let the club start releasing, deliver that loft, and just pick it off the turf. Really fun shot to work on those different trajectories on. Sort of that nice low driving draw, the mid-height one, and then if we're trying to throw it up there to a front pin over a bunker or something. Again, this is all off of the fairway here. Spin rate was 4,700, 4 degrees down. It really interesting because I was letting the club release a little sooner. Path was slightly left, 2 degrees to the left, helping me control sort of how the ball is spinning when it hits the green. It's not gonna, with that little left path in the release, it's easier to deliver a little softer hit, and then the ball's gonna stop a little quicker. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit of a baseline when you're working on your 30-yard pitch shot.